The Senate voted, and Biden has now signed a $460 billion collection of 6 funding bills that is set to keep the government partially running through the end of September. The measure passed in the Senate with a 75-22 vote in favor, including funding for agriculture, commerce, justice, energy, the VA, transportation, housing, and the Food and Drug Administration, as well as military construction and other federal programs. And it also gives Congress 2 additional weeks to negotiate funding for the remaining 6 bills needed to avert any kind of a shutdown and keep the government running to full speed. I want to jump quickly to Democratic Senator Susan Collins, who lays out wonderfully why these things are important, combating the MAGA narrative that a government shutdown wouldn't matter.
Do we really want a veteran who has bravely and loyally served his country and is now trying to file a claim for benefits to find that the Veterans Benefits Administration's doors are closed to him or her?
And this is important because the right, largely and specifically MAGA, tries to frame this as government shutdown won't affect anyone and they're just not doing anything anyway, so let's shut them down, blah, blah, blah. Because they know that the majority or the common person aren't affected straight-handedly or directly by government programs. The problem is that the people who rely on this sort of assistance the most are exactly the people who would be affected. Mothers who rely on food stamps to feed their children, veterans who rely on government-provided health care. These are the things that every American should want to prevent or avoid for the benefit of all Americans. But with Republicans, currently they are wanting to do anything they can to make things look worse or more chaotic under Biden. And if that requires shutting down governmental programs that vulnerable people rely on, then so be it, even if it was completely avoidable if they would just play ball. I want to briefly jump over to the RNC, where they officially recognized Trump as the nominee and also elected his daughter Laura as the chair to replace Ronna McDaniel in what is a completely unprecedented move to solidify more power behind Trump. You tell me how fair that sounds. And I want you to watch while, after being forced out of her chair and exiled by Trump, Ronna McDaniel was still urging and trying to justify these actions because it's what's best for her own political interests.
We have to unite. Just as my mom did 30 years ago, I will do everything possible to re-elect President Trump in November. And I ask that all of you out there who worked so hard during this primary season or supported another candidate, that you come in and join me in supporting our president as well, our future president as well. We need you. We need you. Now, I'm stepping aside today because I have long promised to put the nominee and their plans for the RNC first. Winning the White House back is just too important for me to do otherwise. President Trump deserves to have the team he wants in place at the RNC.
Now, to clarify, she was sternly told to step aside by Trump and his team in a way that was more leave or we'll make you than a, hey, could you please do this, you know? And it's done so Trump can have this inner ear and influence in the Republican Party, even more so than he already does before he got the nomination, now that he is nominated, before the election even comes around, after the election if he were to lose, or after his 4-year term. He just wants to be able to keep this grasp of control that he feels within this party. And it shows that Republicans will also stop at no measures to get their own wishes. They've beat fully around the bush at our funding our government, only agreeing to temporary measures here and there or partial measures just to barely avert it, and largely signaling that it wouldn't matter and that they don't mind if the government did shut down. Also that they could then blame the chaos on Biden and say, see, Trump, we kept the government open under him. But it's the actions of those Congress members that are leading to the government shutdown, not anything of Biden. They elect Trump's children into positions of power, as well as election deniers and Michael Watley. And this is all just to help bolster the image of the failed former president. And just remember, when you see things like this is clearly a party that's for them, for their wealthy donors, and they're not here to represent you.